Welcome to the Bad Feeling Podcast. Welcome. Oh, shit. That's the wrong show. Hey, everyone. I'm Marcus.
And I am not Nick.
We are working class nerds.
Cue the intro.
That's right. We are Working Class Nerds, the podcast that gives you no information about your favorite information. Today is Thursday, December 17th, 2020, and you can find this podcast anywhere you can find podcasts. I swear, Google it. We're everywhere. We're slowly taking over, and it is true, the Europeans like us a lot better than the Americans. We have the data. Also, you can watch me play video games Tuesday, Wednesday, and Saturdays. Yes, my schedule's changed. All to be explained later at twitch.tv/MarcusB814. You can find the both of us on Twitter. I am at MarcusB814, and Nick is at Nick Byrne. So, real quick, Nick is not here because he is a frontline worker and he got his COVID vaccine yesterday. And him and I were talking all throughout the day, and it's gotten him really sick. He's got the chills, he's got the fever, he's got the cough, he's weak, achy. He said he's really a mess and he's probably not going to work tomorrow. And for Nick to call out of work is pretty rare. So he's not here today. But this week's episode, we're talking about the new story content in SWTOR, which is Game Update 6.2 and a little bit of 6.2a, more to be explained later. And this week, I'm joined by fellow AIE officer and friend, Looci. Welcome to the show, and what have you been up to?
Oh, you know, that kind of stuff. Working hard to get ready for the holidays, putting up trees, decorating, and playing lots and lots of games.
What would you say your main game is right now?
SWTOR. I still play mostly SWTOR. Since WoW has a new update, a new expansion, I've gone back into WoW a bit, dabbling a bit. I also play ESO, Elder Scrolls Online, and Lotro. So yeah, I play a lot. Too much some days, but
Well,
it's been a good. It's been a yeah. It's good having the games at this point.
you know what's funny about WoW is I've tried it a few times, and this last, I'm doing my quotation marks, try, I got actually pretty far, and you know what I don't like? So every game I play, there's always a mechanic that I don't like. WoW's mechanic, or let me back up. Like Breath of the Wild, I love the game. The whole weapons mechanic that the weapons break after you use it a few times, I hate that mechanic. So I didn't really like finish that game. I started playing WoW. You know what I don't like about WoW is when you die, you have to go back to walk or run or fly, whatever you can do. In my case, I had to walk because I didn't have a mount, and you have to go to your body to be able to loot it again. That I,
But it's not usually looting it. It's just you have to go back to your body in order to come back to life. Unlike some of the older games where you would have to go back to your body to loot it, or you would go back to your body and you lost all your stuff.
no, I understand that, but I'm saying when you like, you can't just die and res back at like the home base or whatever. You
Right.
actually have to like go back and maybe it's because I was always like I played it a lot solo because when I was playing with Corley a lot,
Yeah.
excuse me, my monster is engaging. The when I was playing with Corley, I had a lot of fun, so I didn't mind. Well, I didn't really die because Corley was overpowered, and yeah, so that could be why. But as soon as I played alone, I was just like, and maybe it's the old, like the original game location that was really, I don't want to say the word clunky, but it just didn't, I don't know. It just didn't do it for me. But the other thing is I think that's why I play Star Wars The Old Republic is because it's Star Wars. And
Right.
like you can get into it. And like I wasn't a part of the 2004 wave of World of Warcraft. So it's really hard for me to get into something that's been out
Old.
forever. Well, no, it's not that it's old. Like the whole premise of it is awesome. I've actually read, well, audibled a couple of the WoW books, and it's actually fascinating to hear like the lore behind the whole game. But for
Yeah,
me, but the well, and then here's the other thing. Hear me go on a. We're gonna quote Max on a mini rant, and then you have to be facing the boss. Like the game doesn't auto
turn
face
you.
you, auto turn you,
Yep.
and I walk with I walk and run with the mouse. I know everybody. I usually use my WASD as like my defensive cooldowns, where when you're questing in WoW, you don't need to. And I know this sounds crazy to everybody, but that's how I run or walk. And it's, yeah, it's, I'll eventually try it again. But what do you think of the new Shadowlands expansion so far?
There are parts of it that are very good. There are parts of it that, if you are a casual player, you will hate. It's one of those kind of things for your hard mode content, hardcore people. I don't have the time to be hardcore anymore. I did that in 2005 and 2006 and 2007. I don't have the time. I have a life. I have other games. I have a lot of things that I'm out there and there's a lot of things going on. I have two children who are mostly adults, but there's a lot of stuff out there. And so I'm not a hardcore player. And there are some things in it, this expansion, that they're going to have to tune down for your casual player, your weekend player. I'm sure that if you got Max going on the subject, he was pretty last Saturday or the Saturday before when we were playing Lotro, and he was pretty adamant that it's overtuned at this point. They tend to do that. I know that they have tuned some of it down a bit today. I haven't tried the content that they tune down because it's too depressing.
Oh shit!
And I go to play games to have fun. I don't play games to work hard at. And
Well,
when you finish after an hour and a half of doing Torghast, which is what it is, and it's a solo dungeon, um, and that's hard, and you're Torghasting, and it takes an hour and a half to do it, and you get to the end boss and you wipe 4 times, and then the big monster comes after you and kills you because you only have 4 deaths. And at that point, when you're done and your back is like all tensed up and tight, and you think, yeah, this isn't for me. This isn't why I play games.
it's funny. I have recently stepped up in SWTOR and started doing nightmare rating.
Yeah.
And for me, I don't find it to be stressful um doing hard content. I mean, if I guess if SOTOR put a gate on it where you only had 4 deaths, and if you die 4 times, then you can't do it again that day, I think I would be tense because that's a pretty shitty mechanic, um, especially for new content. Because who's to say your gear ready? Like, let's say you're going in there for the first time, you're clearly not geared for that final boss fight yet. And if you just keep wiping, you just feel like it's a waste, and you're like eventually going to just put your arms up and go, nah, not for me.
Well, and that's kind of, I haven't been back into it this week. Resets are on Tuesday, and I stopped. And I decided, yeah, no, not yet. Maybe I'll go in tomorrow. I ran a couple of heroic dungeons today, which was good, kind of like vet mode dungeons in SWTOR. Um, but yeah, because I'm trying to get gear. I'm trying to get to the minimum level to do the group finder raid, which is, I think, probably 3 bosses at this point. But I don't have the gear yet, and so yeah, and my
That's go ahead.
RNG in this game is awful. If I didn't have bad RNG, I'd have no RNG.
Wow, I can
That's
understand.
lately that's the way it seems, but I still enjoy it. I went back because I missed it. We started playing WoW in 2005. We played vanilla all the way up through. We didn't play last expansion, my husband and I. He hasn't come back. He's pretty hardcore into Star Wars at this point. But I came back, just for a while. I'll probably dump it again. I in 6 months because I'll be done. I won't need it anymore for a while. I made a lot of good friends in WoW, but and we still talk with several of them. But yeah, it's different. It's a different game, and it's not any coming at it. I would think later in the run because let's face it, it's been going since 2004. That's a long time.
Yeah, for sure.
So it's yeah. The other ones, I know you've tried ESO and you haven't had much luck. Um,
For me, like, so I do like ESO. I just it's really hard, and this is where it's hard for me. Like, SWTOR gets my main game focus. It's hard for me to pick up another MMO, but I'll talk about it in a minute. What I the hardest part for me is with ESO is I can't move the way I've been moving in an MMO for years because you have to use WASD and your mouse is your camera movement like a first person shooter.
yes.
So because of that, it's a little it's a little odd. But the game itself is amazing. It looks beautiful. It plays great. It's smooth. It doesn't really isn't really um I'm gonna say buggy, but you know it's a good game. I've tried it, and it's just maybe like the problem is for me is I wish I could just get in a game, skip the questing because level questing is not for me. I think that's why I'm in SWTOR so much because like I've already done, I've done my level questing. I'm finishing all my stories for the legendary status, but other than that, it's not for me. Where everybody says that's the best part of the MMOs, and I'm just like, no, the end game is. Like if I could just do raids, like start day one raid, learn what the buttons do, and just raid, that would be how I would like to do it. Or do those dungeons because I watch the mandatory fun nights when Dan Kinney streams them.
Yeah.
They're awesome and like the mechanics are sweet. And I hear tanking in that game is really tough. So that like the carrot is hung there for me too.
So yes, this my husband made the comment to me about how can you switch between games and how do you manage to jump from going from Star Wars to ESO is the hardest transition that I have. And that's because I'm like you. I run with my mouse. I move with my mouse. I do everything with my mouse. I have function keys and I have, that kind of stuff, but I do everything with my mouse because that's just the way I've always played. Clicking, oh, I don't remember which game it was. It might have been the original Guild Wars where you clicked to move and that just drove me nuts. But yeah. But going from Star Wars or WoW or even Lotro to ESO is like I have to take a break, walk away, come back, and try and get my mind onto WASD and using the mouse with no buttons just to turn and look. So yeah, I understand where you're coming from. It's not easy. That's probably the hardest thing for me is transitioning between the other three and ESO. But I like ESO. ESO, there's so much to do. Unfortunately, we don't have a large enough team, a large enough group within the guild in order to do endgame, and they're called trials in ESO. And we don't have enough people. We the past couple of weeks we MFN is on Friday nights and Friday nights are there's usually last week and the week before there were only 4 of us, which is a dungeon group. So we ran dungeons. So it was good, but it's
Is
been quiet.
is there a level boost? Like I can just buy a level boost and skip the stupid bullshit and just so I can do that cuz like that is something I would totally do. Just boost my character max level and or close and then be able to run some of the dungeons.
I don't know. I mean, you can. So the thing is, you can level through dungeons, and dungeons start at you can do a group finder content starting at level 10. and they are very well geared that if you are a level 10 and I am a level 50 max level, we can do the same dungeon and we both get equivalent loot. That's one thing that ESO does very good is it you can level in any of the playing areas and you're at the same level as me as a level 50 with 810, what are they called, CP. um yeah, so 810 levels of 50. You get to 50 and then you just keep leveling all the way up to use your points. So yeah, I don't think they have a boost actually. WoW does,
Yeah.
but yeah.
Hey. So this past week, we finally got to we beat Corruptor Zero. I don't know since the last time I spoke to you guys. I'm not sure. Either way, we beat Corruptor Zero on Nightmare my first time, and this Monday or Tuesday, I mean, we started to pull Nightmare Brontes for the first time. Um, it went fairly well. Uh, there's a few people that have never done the fight, or I'm not sure, but it was it's definitely fun, and I'm loving it. So I started playing Final Fantasy 14 again, and I talk about mindless questing. That game is mindless questing. If you ever want to see me frustrated playing a game, watch me play Final Fantasy 14. Some of the things they ask you to do are the dumbest things ever. I'll give you an example. So there's this quest where you have to essentially guide somebody to another area. So basically, they're follow. It's like a follow quest. Hey man, follow me and I'll get you there safe, right? But in order for that person to follow you, you have to emote/beckon. So you can only move like 10 feet away from the person, and you have to type /beckon again. And then some of our AIE friends told me that you can just hit up and enter and it'll type the same thing. But let me tell you, that was like the longest 5 minutes of my life. And then if
Yeah,
you
it
try to,
sounds like it.
yeah, and then if you try to do it again, you have to retarget that NPC to get them to follow you. I mean, I got through it. And again, here we go on my rants about all the different games and what they do wrong. Final Fantasy 14's map system is terrible. When you have an like in Star Wars The Old Republic, when you have a quest, it shows a purple arrow. Even if you're not in the arrow area where that needs to be, you can pull up your map and like expand the map and see where you need to go. This game does not do that. Like it's almost like you have to hunt to find the quest location. And maybe it's because I'm an idiot and there's a good chance of that. But I get so frustrated when like the game isn't intuitive. Like I already don't like your original quest mechanics because like everything is gated by story in that game. And I mean, and I'm trying to like it because I know friends that play it and I want to get to the end game and be able to do dungeons and stuff with them. So I know I have to do it. But man, it's like I I'm uh,
Struggling.
yeah. And I want to enjoy it. But as soon as I get one of those quests and I'm just like, I can't do this. And then it's like, oh, you've unlocked this dungeon. Perfect. Let's do it. IQ as a tank. And I wait 25 minutes because for the group finder to find a healer and 2 DPS to go with me. And it's like, but you can't move forward in the story until you do this dungeon.
Oh.
Where in SWTOR, I would say dungeons, flashpoints are optional. They don't make you do them except in like Rishi and stuff like that. Um, but how do I say it? But the fact like make it so you can solo these dungeons so you can progress your own story faster than waiting for other people to do it with. Especially in the early part. Like the original expansion, like come on. make it so it's soloable. Anyways, moving on. Um, I have been watching Rebels. I'm in season 3, episode like 5. It's pretty cool to see Thrawn is there. I never saw it, but it's been really fun. And then the last couple things is I want to just shout out all my friends on Twitch that have been watching my stream. Thank you, everybody. Thank you for the follows. Thank you for the subs. You guys, it means so much to me. And shout out to the Working Class Nerds Discord. If you want to join our Discord, it's kind of like a Marcus B814 and Working Class Nerds kind of collab. We just talk everything. Come hang out with us. If you'd like to, get a hold of me on Discord or Twitter, and I will get you the link, or come to the Twitch channel. Also, too, earlier in the show, I mentioned that my schedule changed a little bit. It has changed just because my rating teams have changed. So now it's the Tuesday, Wednesday, which is Nightmare Rating, and Saturday, which will be dedicated to story content unless I get pulled into a raid. This week, I'm going to be opening a hyper crate that was a Life Day gift from SWTOR, and then I'm going to continue my smuggler story. Again, yeah, this monster. I'm amped up right now. So, in SWTOR news, game update 6.2 finally came last week. We've been waiting 14 months for some story content, and let me tell you, they delivered.
Yes, they did.
So, this is full spoilers. This is no holds barred. We're going to talk about it throughout the rest of the show. It's going to be brought up. So if you haven't played the new content and you really care to not be spoiled, shut it off. But before we do that, we're going to talk about AIE news. Tomorrow night, which is December 18th, which you're probably listening to this like on the day we're doing it, or it's already been passed. We're doing our mega, as Nick does it way better than me. It's 9 p.m. Eastern, Starforge server. All are welcome. Lucy, what are we going to be doing tomorrow night?
We're going to do a cantina crawl, and we're going to go and we're going to talk to Paxton Rawl in every single cantina that he's in. So if you were not subbed for that period of time when they offered him as a companion after, I think it's 10, chapter 9 or 10 in Coffee, you can do this. It's a hidden achievement. You talk to him he's in 11 cantinas. And then after you have done that, every time you come up to and you do that piece of Fallen Empire, you can recruit him as a companion. So, yes, that's what we're going to do. We're going to talk to Paxton Rawl. He's the Twi'lek pirate. And then we're going to throw snowballs at him because it's Life Day and we all throw snowballs.
Lots and lots of snowballs. I haven't thrown a snowball yet, but I'm sure it's coming.
Oh, yeah.
I'm excited because I didn't even I knew this was like an achievement, but I never knew it was an achievement, you know what I mean, kind of a thing. And I'm excited to be able to do it just because why not, right? It's just something else fun to do.
Yeah.
And
something different.
Yes, and it's lighthearted. There's going to be no, you're really not going to have a story level cap. You'll just need a ship, and everybody will be able to come, and it'll be super lighthearted because as we're getting closer to the holiday, people are busy and they may not have a ton of time, but doing this might be just something fun. You can come hang out with us, and if you feel like having a drink, have one. In my case, I will probably make a triple shot latte and down that nice and warm thing because it's like a blizzard here. As Lucy said earlier, Friday nights are mandatory fun night in ESO at 9 p.m. Eastern. Jump in the Discord and join them. If all this sounds fun to you, go to aie-guild.org, get the Discord information, ask for a guild invite in whatever game you play. And, it's so true now. If you play a game, there's a good chance people in AIE are playing the same game. And if you don't see like the game division that the game you're playing in a division like a subreddit in the Discord, go to the Nomads channel and type in, "Hey, I'm playing this game." There's a good chance somebody's going to respond with, "Oh my god, I'm playing that game too." It's crazy how many games the AIE community plays.
Yep.
And if you do that, we would love to have you. Okay, here we go. Game update 6.2. 14 months in the making. And if you're asking me if I'm salty, I sure am. I've been salty. I watched the other MMO games come out with expansions, updates, and I'm not complaining. I understand there's been a pandemic. I do. But when you watch the other MMOs come out with these full expansions and game updates that are bigger than this update in the same amount of time, it's a little frustrating. But this story, holy shit. So I'm going to read just a little bit of the game update, the story update, little like like preview that they said. The ship carrying Satil Shan and her students has been found. Join Jedi Knight Kira Carson, my old love, and Sith Lord Scourge to uncover the mystery behind this ship and face off against the fanatical servants of the former Sith Emperor to unravel their sinister plot in our new story update, Echoes of Oblivion. Let me tell you something. So I never play like the expansion the day it comes out or even a couple days, because how often, Lucy, does it happen that the game is messed up
Often.
on day one? Day one. And so I didn't even try to log in. I was like, I'm not even going to do it. It's not worth it for me to do it because I know there's going to be a problem. And what I didn't want to happen is the first time I play the story, it to have a problem. Because I feel like if you have a problem with the story, you're going to be really, it's going to take the magic away from it. So for me, listening to everybody talk about how awesome it was, I had a couple people in the Discord message me and say, "You really need to stream this story." And I was like, "Well, how long is it?" And they're like, "Hour and a half, 2 hours." I was like, "What? Really?" And
Exactly.
they said, "Yeah." And I said, "This one story," and he said, "Yes." And I said, "Okay." So I said, because people are like, "Oh, I did it in 45 minutes." I'm like, "Well, that's not me. I like to run around and see, like, run behind the building because you can, to see if there's some lore object that's sitting there hiding. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Even if there isn't, I still like to do it." Oh boy. So the story starts off, and you're on Odessan, which it kind of feels weird to be on Odessan because it feels like Odessan is just like, it's like the lost city of Atlantis because we haven't been there in 14 months. And it's like, okay, what are we doing here? You know what I mean? Um, so I'll ask you, Lucy, what was your initial thoughts when the chapter started?
So I did play it the first day, and my initial thoughts were, oh, wow, I hope this lasts longer than a conversation, because the last 5 pieces that we've gotten have been a conversation, whether it's Scourge throwing crap at the walls or whether it's, whatever. And it was. It took me probably 2.5 just to go through the initial story bit with Satil and Kira and all of that. Took me probably over 2 hours. That's not even the flashpoint. That was just the story part.
Right.
My initial thought was, wow, this is really good. They really did a good job, and they really did. And it was. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it a great deal. I thought it brought good closure so we could move on and get the hell away from Vitiate.
No, I agree. What I guess so again, what I wish happened, and I actually messaged the team to see if there was a way to unlock. You remember all those little story things like you were talking about Scourge throwing stuff at the wall? Like, can you rewind a little bit and add all those little conversations in before you start the story again to
Like a
almost
recap.
like a recap, but redo the whole thing, even if you've already done it and like your choices don't matter. You know what I mean? Like, who cares about the choices you get to say? But for me, it's like if they added those 5 conversations in on the front end, I feel like you would have remembered everything that has happened. Because for the story starts off and it's just like, hey, we found the ship. Oh, okay. You found the ship. Cool. What
Right.
ship?
What
Don't you
ship?
remember? Elbow poking you. Don't you remember? Don't you? It's where Satil Shan is. No, I don't remember because it's been 14 months since I found anything out about this. And but anyway, so I had no idea what I was walking into. I walked in there and all I had was 2 corruptor blades and an idea that I was going to get to fuck some people up. And instantly you get on this ship and there's like it's like Sith lords but they're I think they were called like hands, like hand servant hands or hand
Yeah,
servant.
servants or yeah, something like that.
And I was like, okay, so it's definitely the Emperor. And I'm like, wait a minute, but there's 2 versions of the Emperor.
Right.
And I'm like, wait a minute. So if there's 2 versions of the Emperor, which one are we doing? And there was a story trailer where you kind of heard or saw the 2 emperors, and I'm like, are both of them going to be in it? And so anyway, so you go through, and all of a sudden, you get to the end of the ship. Um, you get to the ship, and the you go into like a mine trap. I felt like we were at SOA, and
Ah,
so you go into this mine trap, and I mean, hats off to Charles Boyd. I mean, if there was a character that meant something to you through this story for the last 9 years, that person was there.
yes.
And you went through this. You were essentially in Satil Shan's dream, or in her mind, I mean. And you were navigating through her mind because I was trying to figure it out. So the way I understood it was the emperor were trying to take over Satil Shan's mind because if they did, they would like be the most powerful thing ever again. I kind of lost that. Kind of lost track on that. I'm not sure what that meant.
I think part of that was he wanted to come back. And Satil Shan was the most powerful person he could influence to come back as.
Oh, okay. Okay. So that makes a little more sense. So he's trying to take over Satil Shan because she's so powerful. And so now you're in her head and you have your team that shows up with you. And it's, but then as soon as you get in there, of course, everybody leaves. Like you get zapped away to a different part of her mind. And then all of your homies start showing up. Darth Mar. Like
Yep.
that was pretty cool. You know what I
That
mean?
was pretty cool. And
Um,
then, yes, say it,
Thexan and
Revan.
Valen.
Revan.
I know. And
And
that,
then Valen.
yes.
Yes.
So when Revan came, so I heard his voice, and now I'm live on Twitch doing this. Legit, my jaw dropped. My jaw was on the ground for like 12 seconds. Kogus, he made a clip of it because literally my jaw dropped to the floor, and I was like, oh my God, oh my God. And subconsciously I was going, okay, we can't go backwards again. Like, But he was like, look I'm dead, but I can't be free and I can't become one with the Force unless you kill this dude. Please kill this dude. I need my peace. I want to go hang out with Bastila. You know what I mean? Kind of a thing.
Right.
And for a section, you get him as a companion. Let me
He's
tell you.
almost as undying as Kephis.
Well, I don't know about you. So somebody in my stream, it was Intisar, he goes, put him on DPS. And I'm like, am I going to die? And then I was like, no, you know what? No, I'm not going to die. I put him on DPS. He destroyed everything in his path, like everything. And shout out to BioWare because, hello, can you please make Revan a companion, a
Oh my
Force
God,
Ghost
yes.
companion? Hello, like, do you want to win?
Exactly.
And oh my God. And I'm sorry, his fucking lightsabers are fantastic. Like, if you're a Marauder and you don't have two different color lightsabers, you're doing it wrong. One, unless, well, part B of that is unless you earn the Corruptor blades from killing hard mode Corruptor Zero or Nightmare. Like, if you're a Marauder, you should have two Corruptor blades if you beat that content. But if not, your two lightsabers should be two different colors. Because let me tell you something: when you see two different color lightsabers come out, watch out. Just walk away. Just drop your weapon and just turn around and go the other way. So you get to fight with Revan, and Revan is basically, he's like your life coach, I would say, throughout. I would say that's pretty much a solid way to explain it, right?
Yeah, I think that's a good way to put it.
And so this life coach, he's like, look, you got to kill them. You got to kill them. And so then he kind of disappears, and you get all these companions, and you go through these, like, what were they? You were going into like datacrons or holocrons, but what were they calling them?
Memories.
Yes, holocrons of memories. And you were going in, and it was so, what's the word, nostalgic?
Yeah, nostalgic, but also stark.
Yeah, because it was so clean, and you were on Tython. Of all places you ended up, and I said it a few times, was like, this is the bridge where I whooped that gold, my first gold flesh raider. And I was like,
Yes.
oh my God, like, this is the bridge where I had, like, I died on this when I first started playing the Jedi Knight story. Like, this is the spot. And I'm just like, man, you want to throw nostalgia at us? You just did it the whole time. And everything was clean and white, and oh my God. And then, so you finally get to the end, the center of her mind, or whatever they called it, right? And the cutscene happens. I don't know about you, Looci, but I kind of was like, wait a minute. So Valkorion, we knew, was Tenebrae, right?
Right.
Or what was his name?
Tenebrae
Vitiate.
and Vitiate. Yeah.
Right, Vitiate. I always saw Vitiate was Tenebrae. It was just he called himself Vitiate.
No.
Right. So you had Valkorion, which is like, it's like Vegeta. Did you ever watch Dragon Ball Z?
No.
Oh, fucking, I wish Nick was here. Because he could go into this. So Vegeta, during the fight, he would change his appearance as you beat him as like level 1 Vegeta, you would switch to level 2 and he would look different. And all of, like, he kept changing, and that's almost like Vitiate. And like, this guy was a menace. He was the most sinister human or alien or whatever, the person in this galaxy ever. And I guess the one question I have is, was he in two different places at once?
Yes.
Oh my god.
Because at one point, as you're in the beginning of Fallen Empire, you he makes a comment when he's in your mind. I just recently replayed it on Master with Sky
Whoa.
to get the achievements. And when we replayed it, he makes a comment at some point about somebody says something to him, whether it was Mar or something in the first chapter, and they make the comment about, so this is why you were never available. This is why you abandoned the Sith Empire. And he said, no, this was my focus.
Yeah.
So he was in two places at one time.
Which is so crazy. The guy is so powerful that he could do that.
Yeah.
And it was, and then hearing Valkorian speak and then Vitiate, like the nostalgia. And it was so awesome. And I was just like, I couldn't handle any more of it. And I thought it was going to come like to a close. And then all of your friends come out of nowhere and we're like, all right, let's do this. I have a screenshot on my computer of the moment um at the I don't know if it's what part, but your character goes, no, in the end you are nothing, and all of the people are standing behind you that have been affected by this person.
Yes.
And I was just like, oh, this is fucking magical. This is magical. And then I'm just gonna say this fight was no joke. I mean, please make this a instanced
To
operations boss fight.
to
Please.
let me go back in with three other people, or to let me go back in with seven other people. I agree.
Because you had um in the beginning you had that like champion monster, right?
Yeah.
So that could be boss one. And then you could throw another boss in there um for boss two and then make that the final boss if it was a flashpoint. Or just make it like an instance operations boss like Taburo's
Queen
Courtyard
or queen.
or
Yes.
yeah, hard mode queen or something like that. But please, because you could easily do a story mode, hard mode, and nightmare mode version of this because oh my god, the fight was incredible. I was a marauder and I was using my cooldowns. Like I almost died a few times.
Yes.
Um that it was unbelievable. And each boss used a different mechanic, but the funniest one was the final phase of him, which was actual. He looked like a Sith pureblood. Um,
Yes. And yes, I would say he was, and etched into his body was his immortality.
right. And in his final form, when you were fighting him, it was the Skyva mechanic, and it was
Yes.
pretty cool. I appreciated that a lot because that mechanic is awesome.
Yeah.
And so when you're fighting him and you realize that there's like the true form of Tenebrae, because I've never seen him, and maybe um I do want them to, I want to see that, and like I don't know if I've ever seen him in that form or not, and if I haven't, or if I have and I just forgot because it's been so long. Yeah, but oh my god, was it good? I don't even. It was so good.
It was.
So then, do you want to put on your tinfoil hat real quick?
Sure.
Okay, where does the game go from here?
So at some point, I'll put on my tinfoil hat. So at the end, when you're finishing up with all of this, and I can't remember what her name is, but it's the girl who was on Dantooine when
Yes.
Malgus disappeared. So
Hmm.
obviously, at some point, we get to fight Malgus again.
So do
Hopefully,
you
this
think
time
he's
we'll
going to
get to
be?
kill him.
Well, yeah. So he's going to assume. Obviously, he's going to be the new emperor. He's going to be the new bad guy.
I would think, yeah, I would say tinfoil hat. I don't know how tinfoily that is, but I mean, at some point, it'll be Malgus. What else? I think there'll be a role for Valen in there.
But Valen's dead.
I understand that Valen's dead, but how powerful was Valen? Think
It's
about
true.
it.
I always wanted her as a companion. I liked her. Um, it wasn't her fault. She was
Psycho?
yes. That's awesome. Um, so if you are listening to this and you don't play the game, or you haven't played the game and you want to see it, actually, SWTOR did a 45-minute video of all the cutscenes and all of the content, so you can see it and know what we're talking about. It's pretty awesome, and I would tell everybody to do it because, man, it was worth waiting 14 months for this update. I just wish there was more. And of course, anytime you get really, really, really good story,
Then you have another drought.
no, you always want more.
Well, yes. Yes,
But
you do.
I said it in the last episode or the episode before. I said if this story content is an hour, I'm going to be pissed because you've waited 14 months. But listen, it took me almost 2 hours to do it, and I
And that
streamed the
wasn't
whole thing.
including the flashpoint.
Well, I'll talk about that in 1 second. But I did not feel spited at all. The only thing I will say to BioWare is I wish they would just give us something and not quality of life stuff. You know, I don't know, side quests. I don't know. You know, I guess I just want more story because it's Star Wars and I want to eat it all up.
Yeah.
But speaking of the new Flashpoint, which is called the Spirit of Vengeance, renegade Mandalorians have ambushed one of Shea Vizsla's capital ships, the Spirit of Vengeance 2, to rip it apart and steal the priceless Mandalorian relics. Fight these renegades to free Shea Vizsla's ship and save its crew and relics. So I have not done this Flashpoint. Um, again, I want to enjoy it the way it's meant to be. And all I've read is how broken it is.
I think that they've fixed a lot of it. I did it. It was not easy, and that's on normal mode. I did it as a story mode. Um, I enjoyed it. I thought they did a really good job. It was interesting.
So I'm excited to do it. And then of course I'm excited to do it on master mode.
Well, yeah.
Um, so I'll probably end up doing it on Saturday night as well during my stream, just because by then it'll be fixed. Because pretty soon, all these development companies are going to be shut down for the holiday.
Yeah.
Also, too, in 6.2, we got login rewards, which we've mentioned before. Now they're starting to come in each day. I personally love them, every single one of them. I think it's fantastic. I think it's a great add to the game.
Yeah. I think it's a good incentive. It brings people to, even if you're only in for, a little, you're still in. Yeah, I agree. I think login rewards are a plus.
Well, what I like about it is the login rewards aren't for us, right? It's not. The login rewards are for the new players who don't have any credits, who don't have any of the perks that we do, may not even have an experience boost. You know what I mean?
Right.
And that minor experience boost may help them and keep them playing because they just got a 4-hour boost and they're like, well, I don't want to waste that.
Right.
Let me keep playing. And yes, for players like us, I look at it as we're the end game. We're like, okay, what's the prize at the end? Is it legendary embers? Is it cartel coins? Whatever that is, that's what we're going for. Everything that we're getting during the process is just extra cool. Thanks. And when you create a new character, those login rewards are really good for that character too because they're low level.
Right.
So I think it's awesome. ESO does it, and it's the same kind of thing where for me going into ESO, those login rewards are awesome for me, where they may not be awesome for you because you're your end game in that game. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. Oh, definitely. I would say most definitely. But yes, as you get further into the month, I'm going to assume that they might amp themselves up a little bit. ESO usually 3 weeks in has a fairly large at 21 or 22 days usually has a fairly large reward. This month it's a preview crate of the crates, the equipment crates, or the um kind of like a hyper crate, something like that. But they have a preview of an equipment crate. It'll have probably 3 or 4 things. One of them may be a pet. One of them might be a cosmetic weapon. That kind of stuff. So usually it's a pet or a mount that you get out of it when they do this.
And that's awesome.
Yeah, it is, and it's usually about 3 weeks in. So it keeps you logging in, and then when you get 3 weeks in, you think, okay, well, I don't have to log in anymore. Although sometimes towards the end of the month, they give you 10,000 gold, or something along those lines. Money, because money's
Right.
always good. Pixelated money is what we live for.
I do agree with that. So, and then we got the new emote window, which basically you can type it, you can see what the emote is before you use it. So you're not, so it's almost like a preview for it. It's a preview window for the emote you want to use. The only emote I really use is /wave, /sit, /dance. That's it. I see some crazy ass people on the fleet doing some crazy ass emoting, and I'm just like, man sitting next to a woman takes his hand and rubs it on her shoulder. And I'm like, what in the
Because that's
is
the
going on?
RP in people.
Well, right. And there's nothing wrong with that. I just am like, whoa, where did that come from? Shouldn't there be a separate channel for that? Or the craziest one was like, man caresses woman. She invites him to home. And I'm just like, whoa, or stronghold. And I was just like, okay, this is getting a little fucking creepy. I'm gonna have to move on from this.
Have you ever seen Thon's meow?
Oh yeah, Thon makes. He's a guildie. He has like this pre-typed thing that says ERP Cathar Guild looking for people to join, and he gets people that actually ask him to join. Meow.
Meow. Cathar Guild. Ooh.
I yeah, I don't know. So anyways, Life Day is back. I'm excited for it. You know, Life Day, what I like about it is you do your snowball things on those overheated droids and you get the Life Day trees. Personally, you can't ever get enough of those Life Day trees for me because every stronghold deserves all Life Day trees.
I think I'm gonna just carpet my Rishi beach with Life Day trees.
You should. That would be fantastic. Or what you should do is go to the
Carpet
guild.
the guild Rishi stronghold with Life Day trees.
Yeah, take out Max's bar, take out Max's dance floor on the beach, and just put all trees. So when we all go there one day for a conversation, everybody goes, "Where did the
Wow.
bar go? Why are there so
I
many
do have
trees
a
on the
key to
beach?"
that stronghold.
Yeah, he gave me the key, and I just, you know, or take out all of the decorations on the guild stronghold. So when everybody lands, it's all trees everywhere, or switch it out to chairs. Just put chairs everywhere. like on an April Fool's. I wish there was a way to like click a one undo and it would go back. But
Yeah.
that would be
That's one
hilarious.
thing ESO has. You have add-ons and you can literally click and you can save what it was, and with one click of a button you can throw all of your decos right back to where they were.
Well, isn't that cool?
Yep. Yep.
Again, that's a cool thing that this game doesn't have. So it's so funny. There's so many games and they have so many awesome things, but they don't have, you know, they have this and they don't have that, but this one has this, but this one doesn't have that. It's like trying to find the perfect game. And I think it just comes down to what you're the most comfortable with is your what you base everything on. Okay. So we're in the 9-year anniversary, and you guys have heard me tinfoil hat for weeks now about the 10-year. But celebrate our 9-year anniversary with us. The anniversary personnel vendor is waiting for you on the fleet. Purchase new and previous anniversary rewards for a limited time. The Drummond Costs and the Coruscant Strongholds have also received their annual discount, and they can be purchased for 9 credits to celebrate the 9-year anniversary. And that is until the game release of 6.2.1, which we don't know when that's coming. But you better get those strongholds if you don't have them now, because next year they'll be 10 credits. Okay, so that was my idea of humor. I mean, what's cool about the anniversary is you get all the posters, and some of those posters are pretty awesome.
Yeah, they are.
I haven't gotten the I haven't last year. No, I did. I made it there on the last day. I I learned how to do these of anniversary events or like these yearly events and like the nightlife and stuff. I learned how to do it from Seema. She waits till the last day to do it, and then or on the day it expires, you go, "Hey, when does this end?" And they're like, "Oh, it ended 2 weeks ago." Oop, rip that guy, and you can't get it anymore. So I always try to just watch the chat because people usually will remind, "Hey, everybody, this is going away tomorrow. This is going away tomorrow. You may want to go get it," because I think this year you can get the Onslaught poster.
I think so.
Yeah, I think you can. I have all the rest.
The
Um,
one thing that I will say is one um, third anniversaries are, for some unknown reason, are not bound. So in several weeks, you can throw them on the auction house and sell them for big money.
Interesting. I'm sure they'll fix that. I'm sure that's just a bug.
They did it last year. There were a couple that weren't bound,
Oh
that
wow.
for some whatever bizarre reason. So yeah, I picked up a couple of extra of those.
Yeah,
But
and
like
what you
I
got to
said,
do is you got to wait until like July,
right.
and that's when you put them on the market. I am awful at doing that. I open these packs and they just sit in my pack explorer like I never touch them. People are like, "Do you know how many millions of credits you have sitting there?" And I'm just like, because I feel like I fail at the GTN. If I put something up and it doesn't sell after 3 days, I'm just like, okay, I'll just put it back in the box. It could just sit there. You didn't want my stuff, then keep it. All right. Ranked PvP rewards.
Eh.
Yeah. Here you go, Kogus. The replica awards are back. They're the new ones are available from season 5 and season 7. The gladiator set in the gladiatorial Nexu mount, that's season 5, and the Garada's Acklay mount from season 7 you can get. Cool. Spend your rank tokens and then stay away from the toxicity. And once you're done staying away from toxicity, then you'll know that you don't want to queue for ranked PvP anymore. Um, but other than that, I think we got, and then I'm scrolling through endless amounts of pages of this stuff. So then throughout this patch, and okay, sorry, BioWare. How, after 14 months of no big giant update, do you release an update and it completely breaks the game? I mean, it's not that big of a deal, is it? But there are a lot of people that are there's so many bugs in this game that are ridiculous. Like, how did you even find this bug from, Quesh? You know what I mean? There's a bug on Quesh that stops the game from playing or something like that. I'm like, how do you even find that? And I'm just like, yeah. So there was a ton of bugs that came. And this is mostly because the Spirit of Vengeance Flashpoint. And I'm just like, oh my God, like canceling the cinematic after the following steps will no longer block players from progressing in the Spirit of Vengeance Flashpoint. First of all, who would cancel the dialogue in that Flashpoint? It's brand new. Enjoy it. I don't understand the whole spacebar thing. If you've never done it before, and if somebody in your group says I've never done this, then why are you spacebarring?
Right. 100% agree.
You know what I mean?
And then
But
the toxicity comes out.
yeah, spacebar, or I'm leaving. Okay, leave. I'll be fine.
Bye. Have a good time.
Yeah, my companion will do more DPS than you. Um, so they came out with this patch. It's a pretty lengthy one. I thought it was pretty cool. I'm happy that this game update came out. I don't know when 6.21 is coming out. We don't even know what's going to be in it. I'm hoping that we get hopefully maybe another new Flashpoint soon or something of beneficial content. I'm curious to see when we get the announcement of what's coming in the 10-year. The only reason why I say that is because, like I said, for the past weeks, we have been waiting and we've heard so many things, and there's been like carrots or breadcrumbs that have been dropped. So I'm eager to hear about that. And I would imagine they're going to start hyping it up, by spring of 2021. That would be my guess. Or start laying the breadcrumbs out for
Yes.
it.
I would venture to say probably early
And
because
if it's go ahead.
they're so they've just wait, we've got a lot planned. Just wait, we've got a lot planned. They've been saying that for a year and a half.
That's why I think it really took 14 months to do this update, because they're working on the next expansion. I think the 10-year is going to be full blown expansion. It's too bad that it won't be like my favorite expansion.
Coffee and Kotek.
Yeah, coffee was definitely my favorite. Because yes, there was no group content, but the story was so goddamn good, and it came out every month. Every month there was a new update, or month and a half, whatever, a new chapter, and it just kept you engaged for the whole year. And the year flew by.
Yeah.
And you got a bunch of HK55 parts.
Yeah.
Looci, where can everybody find you?
In game, I also do have a Twitter account. I don't remember what it is because I never use it.
So find her in Discord.
Yep, you can find me in Discord. I'm Lucy/Osh in Discord. And my picture is a troll. So there you go.
I always thought it was Mystique.
No, it's a troll. It's a WoW troll with very, very purple hair.